This is Unit 3, CSD, so Computer Science Discoveries. Our question of the day, how can we use sprite properties to change their appearance on the screen? So this one we're going to use some different properties. Students extend their understanding of sprites by interacting with the sprite properties. The lesson starts with a review of what a sprite is, then moves on to Game Lab for more practice with sprites, using their properties to change their appearance. The class then reflects on the connections between the properties and the variables. Okay, so we've got sprite.rotation, sprite.scale, sprite.x, and sprite.y. Okay, what do we think sprite.rotation is going to do?
Rotate the sprite.
Rotate the sprite. What about sprite.scale?
Make it smaller or bigger.
Make it smaller or bigger.
I wish I knew that the other day. My cow that I tried to have was so big.
Yeah. Well, now you have these, so it should be a lot better. All right, it says look at the code below and predict where the B sprite will appear. What will the program show? So we've got this. Let's make this. Can't make this smaller. Awesome. It's just going to totally be in the way. All right, it says variable B equals create sprite at 200, 200. So that tells us it's going to be creating the variable in the middle of the screen. Setting the B.set animation is setting it to a B, so we're going to have a B animation show up. Then we have B.x is at 350, B.y is 350. So what do we think that's doing? Those two lines, 3 and 4.
It's making a big B. Like where it's at.
It'll make it.
It's making it change where it's at, right?
Yeah.
It's going to change the X property of the B sprite to 350. Okay, so it's probably going to be like there-ish. Okay, so it's going to show up in the bottom right, and it's going to draw it. Okay, so a B sprite in the middle of the screen, no. A B sprite in the bottom right corner. Potentially, 2 B sprites, one in the middle, one in the bottom right corner. 3 all in different places or nothing, there will be an error.
Wow, it's an ugly B.
Okay, we just see it show up in the bottom right corner. So it doesn't draw another B sprite because another one wasn't created. It just creates the one down in the bottom right. So the correct answer is B.
It doesn't even look like a B though. It kind of looks scary.
Yeah, it's a little tiny.
You said B as in boy?
Yep.
Yep. Sprite properties keep track of all the information your program needs to know about a sprite, such as its size and location. You can change the values of these properties just like you do variables, and see the results when a sprite is drawn to the screen. Okay, it says do this. Run the program to see where the sprites appear. Change the X and Y properties of the paintbrush sprite to move it to the palette. Okay, so I'm going to minimize my instructions so that I can see everything. For those of you that are doing this on your laptops, this is a useful tip. This little up arrow by the instructions makes more space here. So I'm going to press run just to see what I've got going on here. So I've got this paintbrush and this palette in the bottom left. Okay, they're both being created. They're both the animations are being set, but my palettes X and Y are 100, 300, where my brushes X and Y are 300, 100. And I think it said it wants me to move my brush by my palette. So I'm going to change the brush X to 100 and the brush Y to 300. And then reset and run. And now my brush is over by my palette. I can get more specific and try and put it on one of the paint splotches, but I don't think I need to do that.
You said the palette was on what?
You're changing it to 100, both of them to 100, then 300. Okay, so if we go back there, Maddie, take a look up at the screen real quick. We changed line 7 to say brush.x equals 100, and we changed line 8 to say brush.y equals 300. So we just changed line 7 and 8. Yep. All right. Level 4 says new properties. Sprites have lots of properties. Check out the 2 new blocks in this activity and try them out for yourself. Notice that different sprites can use the same animation and still look different because of properties. Run the program and see how the rotation and scale blocks make the 2 notes, first two notes, look different. Use the rotation and scale blocks in the last two notes to make them look different too. Okay, so our first two notes are a little different here. We've got one turned, this one turned and a little bit different. It wants us to change these last two notes up here. Okay, so I'm going to minimize my instructions so that I can see everything. And I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit, makes things a little easier. Let's do 70. That's a little too small. We'll do 90. All right. Variable drums, variable notes, note scale, and rotation are being set here. So its scale on line 6 got set to 0.3%, so 30% of its original size, and the rotation got set to 20. And then note 2 scale got set to 0.7, so 70%, and the rotation was minus 30 degrees. Okay. If we notice, minus is going to start tilting it to the left, and plus is going to start tilting it to the right. So we can go ahead and do that with our last two notes, note 3 and note 4. So we're going to go to the sprites drawer, and we're going to drag out this, let's do scale first so we can change the size. So we're going to drag that out, come on, there we go, in between lines 13 and 14. So underneath where it says note 3.set animation 8th note, we're going to drag and drop that there. And in order to make it change note 3, we need to change the sprite.scale to note 3.scale. Okay, and then we need to change its size. Should we do
Note 3 or just 3?
Note 3? Because it has to be the same as what it is on line 12 and on line 13, the very first thing that's said. Okay, 0.8. And then we want to rotate it. Actually, if we wanted to leave this one straight up and down, we could. So we can leave out that sprite.rotation. If you want to change the rotation, you go ahead. Okay. So if I press reset and run, I've got a little bit smaller note. Actually, I lied. I'm rotating it. It's gonna bother me. So I have to put note 3 again. And then my rotation, I'm going to have it turn a little bit to the right. So I noticed that this first one turns a little to the right. So I'm going to look at note 1's rotation, and that's positive. It's a positive number. So I want it to turn a little bit more than that. So I'm going to go something more than 20. I'm going to go 35. Check that out. Whoa, that's too much. Don't like that.
10 looks good.
10 looks good? Okay, let's give 10 a try. I'm going to be different. I'm going to do 15. Yeah, 15 is better. All right. Then we're going to do the last notes. So we just drag out sprite.scale, put it in between line 17 and 18. Change where it says sprite to note 4 this time. We'll change the scale down. Let's go down to scale changes it smaller or larger. So if it's larger than 1, say I did 1.5, it would be 1.5 times as big. So 1 whole time and another half. So it'd be even larger than the original. Whereas anything 0 point something is going to reduce it in size. So if I wanted to double it, I would put 2, because that would double it. So I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do 0.45, 0.5. That sounds fun. And then we'll just do sprite.rotation, put that underneath there. Note 4, rotation, I'm going to do a negative number this time so that it tilts the other way. Actually, yeah, let's do negative. We got to stick to the same process here. Let's do negative 15 this time. See what that gives us. Oh yeah, that's good. All right. That's what we did with that one. We added in lines 14, 15, 18, and 19. Everybody get that one? Awesome sauce. You can always go back in the video after we're done today and take a look at it. Yeah. I recorded it last time too, so you can take a look. let's do B. Let's do rotation property. Scale's boring. Rotation's more fun. All right, the dot rotation sprite property rotates an image by between 0 and 360 degrees. The image is rotated clockwise. For example, my sprite dot rotation equals 90. We'll turn it 1/4 rotation to its right. Okay, so we think of this as we have a giant circle. We have 0 degrees here, and we've got a giant clock. This would be 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and then, whoa, 270. And then this would be 360, or 0. Okay? And it's always going to go clockwise. So that's why when we did those negatives, if I'm going negative this way, we would turn the clock the other way. This would be 0. If I'm going this way, negative 90, negative 180, negative 270, and this could be also negative 360. Make sense? Just it chooses whatever way we want to go. I like to keep all mine in the positive, that way I know. But if I want something to do like a backflip, I do have to use a negative number. I can't always make it turn to the right. Right. Okay. All right. Add dot rotation blocks to the code. Where's my mouse go? There it is. Whoa, there it is. To the code to make all of our cars look like they are traveling correctly down the roads. Press run. This is what we have. Looks like my green car knows what it's doing. But my yellow car, let's do car.red. That's the next one. Wait. No. Yes. The green car is going correctly. The red car is not. Okay, so the red car should be rotated what direction?
Right.
By?
4.
Which is how many degrees out of 360?
90.
Correct. Okay, so this one is car left with a capital L, and then our rotation is 90. And we could always check. So we reset and run and check. So I did on line 16, I dragged in a sprite.rotation, car left with a capital L, and then dot rotation equals 90. Okay, our blue car is on the wrong side of the road, and the headlights are on the top of the car, so we need to flip it all the way around. Okay, and our blue car is car bottom. So we're going to drag out this sprite.rotation, and we're going to call it car bottom with a capital B. And the dot rotation is going to equal what?
180.
Correct. 180. Again, test. Might as well test. Make sure I didn't break anything. So that's correct. And the yellow car, where are the headlights? The headlights are on the front. Should be turning to the right just a little bit. Okay. So it's car right with a capital R. Make sure you put in 2 R's, one capital, one lowercase, then one capital.
And you're not going quite 90, so it's half of that because it's like.
Sure, let's try half. Half of that, so 45. Mm-hmm. See what we get. There we go. Okay, all of our cars are going in the correct direction.
What was car right?
Car right was 45. Yep. All right, I'm feeling nice today, so I'm going to help through some of this. This is our assessment or our assignment for the day. Okay, it says make it fit. The food is way too big to fit on the plate. Your knowledge of sprite properties, use your knowledge of sprite properties to make it fit. Run the program to see how big the food is. Use sprite properties to scale all of the food down so that they fit on the plate. We press run. We've got this massive wedge of watermelon, some french fries, and a burger. We are going to change it. A burger.
I have an idea to take it too.
A barrier. That.
And that can, I know it.
Okay, sprite.scale in between lines 5 and 6. We're going to change the fries first. Jagger, what size should the fries be?
0.6.
0.6, he says. Reset and run. That looks like a good size to me.
I think it's a little bigger. Yeah.
It's literally on the picture.
Yeah, but that's not how small it is.
It's on the picture?
Yeah, it's on the picture.
On what picture? This picture?
Yeah.
You don't see
What do you mean?
numbers. What are you talking about?
No, you can't see the numbers, but they don't-
I think they're a little bigger because this tip of the french fry is a little bit closer. Need it to be a little closer.
0.7.
Yeah, but it needs to be right there.
It has to be perfect, Jagger.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 0.7. I mean, we'll just deduct that 0.10 out of your grade.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, much better. That's absolutely perfect.
A lot more satisfying.
Yeah. All right, let's do the burger next with a little less sass or more. Who cares? All right, burger.scale. What should we set this to, Jagger? Attempt number 2.
No, I wouldn't ask Jagger.
Shh. Listen to the man. What's the burger
This
scale?
time it's
0.6.
0.6 as well. Okay. We trust you.
make the watermelon 0.3.
Okay, that one is 0.6.
Okay, finally, you got me right.
Look at those
Okay, it's the cheese molest.
Okay, Sprite.scale dessert.
Jagger was at least close.
Make sure you spell dessert with 2 S's. And watermelon. Brenner, what size should the watermelon be?
0.2.
0.2.
Tiny watermelon.
No. No.
I think that is fine.
It does fit on the plate, so you did follow instructions.
Okay, that's fine.
Put it 2. Put it 2. Put it 2.
Look, you just want to have a small dessert.
Emily Bush.
So,
You shut your mouth in French.
0.6.
0.6, all right. Well, not 0.0.6.
What would that look like? 0.06.
It would error.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it is 0.6. Yes, Milwaukee.
It did error it. It made it even smaller.
Did it error?
I can't see.
0.6. It's 0.7, 0.6, and 0.6.
0.01, you can't even see it. It's a little dot right there.
All right, go ahead and screenshot that. I recommend minimizing your instructions so that I can see all of your code. Screenshot that, turn that into Google Classroom, and that is Lesson 8, Level 6 for your assignment on Lesson 8 in Google Classroom. And we are going to do Lesson 9 next.